Good afternoon. Today I'm going to talk about gun safety. Why is it important to talk about gun safety? Because according to the Firearm Injury Prevention Coalition, in 2008 there were 49 firearm fatalities involving children, which in my perspective is a really high number. This is why it is important to be conscious and aware of the safety of when handling a firearm. Okay. Just like everything we do in our society, there's a proper way and an improper way of doing things. The proper etiquette of handling a firearm is, first of all, never hand or accept a weapon that is like this. The etiquette is to lock the slide back, to make sure there's no magazine inserted, no rounds in the chamber, and then hand the weapon to somebody else. When you lay down the weapon, a gun, you should never lay the weapon in a closed slide. You're always supposed to slide the slide back and make sure there's no magazines or rounds in the chamber, so that if a person grabs the gun, they know it is unloaded. Also, if for whatever reason you are handling a firearm and you temporarily lose control of that firearm, you should always make sure the firearm is unloaded. How you do that is you open the slide, you make sure you physically and visually inspect the gun, make sure there is no magazine, and also check that there's no rounds in the chamber to make sure it is unloaded. Okay. Now that we know the proper etiquette of handling a firearm, we're going to talk about the ways a gun is fired. There are 3 ways a gun is fired. They are intentional, unintentional, and accidental. Intentionally is when a person makes a conscious decision and fires the weapon. Is when a person squeezes the trigger and shoots at a target. Okay. Unintentional. Unintentional consists of voluntary shooting. What it means is a person goes through all the elements of firing a weapon but does not intend to shoot that weapon. The perfect example is if you're target practicing and you are done, and then you try to dry fire a weapon and do not physically and visually inspect that firearm and fire off a round. Involuntary firing. This happens caused by sympathetic reflex by a body. A person cannot disassociate 0.5% of its body from rest, which what it means is if you are startled, your body tends to tense up, causing for you to squeeze the trigger and firing the weapon. Now that we know about the proper etiquettes and the 3 ways of firing a weapon, we're going to talk about the cardinal rules of safety when handling a weapon. Okay? Safety rule number 1 is consider all guns are loaded. A gun is a lethal weapon and should be considered as such. Safety rule number 2 is do not point anything you're not willing to destroy. Safety rule number 3 is keep your finger along the frame like this until you are ready to fire. This goes back to the sympathetic reflex. If your body tenses up, you squeeze your hand, you won't squeeze the trigger. And you keep the finger along the trigger until you are decided to fire. And the safety rule number 4 is be sure of your surroundings. Because when you handle a weapon, you are responsible for every round that you shoot. For example, if you're hunting, your round goes off and does not hit your target and hit something else, you're held accountable for that round. Okay? Just to give you a simple survey, according to Arizona Department of Public Safety, there are 162,151 concealed weapons permit, which means only these people have concealed weapons permit, and most of them have attended a safety training. I believe to the Census Bureau, there are over 3 million people in the state of Arizona. So with this being said, it is our responsibility as a society and community to keep the fatalities down. Thank you.